Good afternoon. I'm Brian Klausman with Aurora Concussion Therapy Systems. We are focused on the 1 million patients who have a concussion. Half of them go to the emergency room, and that's the population we're focused on because they require additional therapy and treatment. What's important to know about this population is that the recovery time can expand months and years, and it's very variable. So what we're trying to do is address the root cause of all concussions, which is the energy level that's occurring within the brain. What's allowing that to happen is the fact that we now today have new diagnostic tools that have all been approved by the FDA in the last 18 months. Without those diagnostic tools, we wouldn't know what patients we could actually treat and how to treat them. So it's an important time for us to be able to move forward with a therapy. That therapy of delivering energy to the brain, basically using near-infrared light to stimulate the mitochondria to produce ATP, is the key focus of how we're helping these patients recover. This technology of near-infrared light is not new. It's been used in mice studies before, and it's shown that it can actually recover the mice within half the amount of time. Dr. Meehan actually did a randomized controlled trial using that same dosage of energy, and he got mixed results. What we identified was that the therapy hadn't been scaled to the human anatomy. We shared these findings with Dr. Meehan, and he confirmed, and he's available to talk to any investors who want to be able to help us move this information forward. And that's the basis for our technology and our patents. We've already received FDA approval on a breakthrough designation, which allows us to move the efforts forward quickly. We have also identified that we will be a de novo product with a Class 2 designation. We're currently doing an IDE preparation for a clinical trial on 40 patients next year, and that's why we're seeking $1.5 million in funding in order to be able to deliver this product to the marketplace. The product will actually be placed in the therapeutic centers. Patients who are appropriate will be activated. We will then notify the patients. Thank you for your time. Questions?
The judges have any questions?
Questions?
Brian, what's the business model here?
So I'm glad you asked. We're in a very interesting time with the healthcare system changing. If you think back 5-10 years ago, most patients paid a $30 copay. And that's what we're finding when we're doing our customer discovery with the clinics and the patients. That's evolved. Patients now are having to pay more out of pocket with high deductibles of $6,500. As of today, this is an out-of-patient cost. Our business model is based on the fact that they're paying around $5,000 to $8,000 for recovery. If we can shorten that healing time in half, we're going to save the patients that amount of money. And the fact that we're going to be charging $1,000 is still a cost savings not only to the patients, but the clinics that are now being inundated with all these additional concussion patients, they can now get them through faster. So patients win, providers win, healthcare system wins.
Is it going to be the hospitals and the providers that are going to be your customers?
Actually, our customers are going to be multifactorial. We're actually going to be focusing on the patients primarily, and the care providers at the emergency rooms will be identifying patients. So as they refer them, because we're adjunctive to the physical therapy, we're not replacing any of the care that they get today. We're actually adding to it. So we're going to be fitting into that same stream of how the patients get referred. What's going to be important is for the patient to understand what they're paying for now that they're having to pay more for their healthcare system these days. So that's part of our audience.
So is this technology making the therapy that they're getting more effective?
Yeah, what's interesting is the therapy people get today when you have a concussion, after a short pause of rest and removal from stimulation, and this has changed in the last couple of years. It used to be you'd go sit in a room and be quiet for several days. Now what physicians are doing and care providers is they're actually trying to get patients back and engaged and active with physical therapy. So it depends on what symptom you have. Balance, visual, cognitive. And so each therapy that they do for rehabilitation is tailored to the patient. And what we're trying to do is just help the patient in general. So it doesn't really matter what the symptoms are that they're currently trying to recover from. And so it'll be applied to all patients.
So it's a headset?
Yeah, it's a helmet. Sorry if I didn't catch that in my brief. It's non-invasive. It's a helmet scaled with the right energy level to be able to help get to the cortex.
And so it goes to all areas, depending on what the
Yes.
symptom is, then it would be targeting those areas.
It's for the whole head. For some of you think of you hit your head and this is the part that gets damaged. It's actually the brain. It's impacted on the front and then it comes back. So you actually have damage internally in multiple areas of the brain. And that's why the design of the device is to cover the whole head. Any other questions?
You may have said this, but you suggested that it could reduce the treatment time by half.
Correct.
What's the data supporting that?
We're using the mouse data to show that the mice, which is a validated concussion protocol model, and in there they were able to reduce it 60%. I don't know that we're going to achieve that same level, but we're using that as our thesis on what we think we can accomplish with the humans if we properly scale it.